the qualitative part of it. You are provided with substance P. Carry out the test below and write your observations and inferences in the spaces provided. Describe appearance of solid P. Solid P was white, so you just write white crystalline solid or substance. Whenever it is white, you just write white crystals. It is acceptable. White crystals. Place about 1/3 of the substance P in a dry test tube and heat it strongly. So you put it and heat it strongly. There is no testing of any gas. Just heat it, and then a colorless solution, a colorless liquid, actually, a colorless liquid condenses on the cooler part, in the cooler parts of the test tube. That simply tells you that this substance P contains water of crystallization. It is an hydrated salt. That one is acceptable. Or you say the salt contains water of crystallization. Contains water of crystallization. So either is acceptable. So if it was a crystal, and then another observation which you can make is that the solid will remain. What will be the color? A white solid remains. A white solid is formed or remains. There you don't need to make any inference. Place the remaining amount of solid P in a pouring tube. Add about 10 centimeters cube of distilled water and shake well. Retain the mixture for test D below. So this one, the solid, dissolve for me a colorless solution. That tells you that the colored ions are absent, and we know the colored ions, which is copper 2 positive, which is blue, ion 2, which is green, and then ion 3, they were absent because it formed a colorless solution, and this is blue, this is green, and this is brown. Therefore these ones were absent. It is also acceptable if you forget this one, you can write soluble salt present. You can say soluble salt present. It is acceptable. Use about 2 centimeters portion of mixture obtained in C for test 1 to Roman 3 below. So add 2 to 3 drops of aqueous barium nitrate. We are adding barium nitrate. We expect a white precipitate because barium will form a white precipitate with the sulfate, the sulfite, and the carbonate. Barium carbonate, barium sulfite are white precipitates. So what is the observation? White PPT formed. So a white PPT is formed. If a white PPT is formed, then it tells you that it is sulfate, the carbonate, the sulfite, okay, the carbonate, and the sulfite is present. Okay, add 5 drops of dilute hydrochloric acid to the mixture above. So the mixture will dent. What will be the observation? we are adding dilute nitric acid 5 and then 5 drops. That is no effervescence. No effervescence. If there is no effervescence, we are adding in dilute nitric acid, then it means the carbonate, the sulfite is absent, because this one, when you add an acid, they form a effervescence. They produce carbon dioxide, and this one will produce sulfur 4, which will produce effervescence. But this one, so it means that the carbonate and the sulfite are absent. But remember, from our previous, we had the sulfite, the carbonate, and the sulfate. Therefore, it means that the sulfate is present. Because if this one are absent, and in our previous Roman 1, we said the 3 were there. So this one are not there. What is it there? This one is present. Acceptable. It is acceptable like that. Add to the mixture aqueous sodium hydroxide droplets until in excess. We are adding sodium hydroxide. The observation is that white PPT is formed. White PPT is formed, which is insoluble in excess. A white precipitate insoluble in excess. So that tells you, we know that what that it means. When adding sodium hydroxide, a white precipitate is formed insoluble. Then we know for sure that the barium, the calcium 2 positive, and magnesium 2 positive are there. Yes, we know that the barium 2 positive, calcium are present. But now this is our last test. We are going to ignore the barium and the calcium, and then we are going to take the magnesium 2 positive is present. Why do we ignore that? This one forms a white precipitate, which is white, very white. But when you look at this one, they form a white precipitate, but it is not that white. But this one, it forms a very white precipitate, so we just take it as the one that is present. So give the formula of the cation and anion present in the substance. So the cation is magnesium and the anion is the sulfate. The last part of it, number 3, you are provided with an organic substance Q. Carry out the following tests and record the observation and the inferences. Place about 1/3 of substance Q on a metallic spatula and ignite it with a Bunsen burner. The observation is that it melts. Solid Q melt and burn with a yellow sooty flame. So if that happens, then you should know it is a double bond or the triple bond that is present. Right? Place the remaining amount of substance Q in a boiling tube. Add distilled water. Heat the mixture and allow it to cool for about 30 seconds. Divide the mixture while still hot into 2 portions. To the first portion, add solid sodium hydrogen carbonate. Sodium hydrogen carbonate. Then effervescence occurs. It's always observed. Effervescence is observed, then it means that is present. Alkanoic acid is present. the second portion, add 2 or 3 drops of acidified potassium permanganate, and then acidified potassium permanganate, which is purple, then acidified potassium permanganate is decolorized. So if it is decolorized, then inside there could be this, a double bond or a triple bond. So you can put even H, but you can put a dash. It's okay. So this one is press. You can have something to say. Just say good work or thank you very much.